Hello everybody, welcome back to the Learn to Kit YouTube channel. We make videos on healthcare, anatomy, biology, and all that stuff. So if you like what you see, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below and maybe we'll make a video out of them. And if it's a question regarding this video that maybe we skipped over, you just didn't quite understand, we'll be reading the comments. And so maybe we can answer some of those questions for you. So first things first, we're going to answer the question that we have on the screen right here. What does the heart do? Simply put, if you're looking for a few words, is it pumps blood throughout the body. That's it. The heart is a organ that is continuously pumping. It's always beating. Before you're born, when you're actually a fetus in your in utero, the heart starts pumping, and it pumps every single second until you die. Plain and simple. So if you want to click off this video, if that's all you're looking for, then that's a simple answer. Mind you, it's a little bit more complicated than that, so I recommend you stick around. First, I'm going to say how it pumps. So it's always pumping because it's stimulated through electric energy, so electric stimulation. The nerves are continuously firing, causing these cells to contract and relax, causing the heart to pump. Why is it pumping? The reason it's pumping is because these cells in your body are always looking for oxygen, and they're always creating carbon dioxide. And that carbon dioxide is a poison. It's the waste, and the body wants to get rid of it. So if you think of the bloodstream sort of as a highway, and red blood cells are sort of like garbage trucks and delivery trucks. So the oxygen is the good that the cells want. They're going to be delivering the oxygen to the cells, and the exchange is that the oxygen that the cells want, not the blood cells but the cells of the body, they will take the oxygen and then give back carbon dioxide to the bloodstream. So it's sort of an exchange, and then the carbon dioxide will then be brought to the lungs through the bloodstream and exhaled. So we're going to talk a little bit about the heart over in the second diagram over here. If that's confusing, bear with us. So this is the right side of the heart, and this is the left side of the heart. When talking about a human diagram, it's always the opposite of the way you look, because it's the person's perspective if they had that heart. So it's like it's looking at it. It's their right and their left. So we're going to start on this side of the heart. This is the right side, and the oxygen that's coming, the blood that's coming from the body is going to be coming in from the right side. So this is always the case. The heart itself is a 4-chambered system. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be important a little bit later. And I cut it in half because these two sides of the heart never coincide. They're always segregated unless you have a heart condition, in which case, but that's not normal. So the right side of the heart has deoxygenated blood. It's the blood that's coming from the body, the blood that has no oxygen in it or very little. It's full of carbon dioxide. So the goal of this blood is to go to the lungs, right? So that's the only way that the carbon dioxide gets out of the body, and then it becomes rich of oxygen because you're breathing in and out. So the blood here is deoxygenated. It's going to come through the superior vena cava and into the right atrium. It's going to stay there, and then this right atrium is going to contract and push the blood into the right ventricle. So that's this whole space right here, even all that area too. So once that happens, it also contracts and pumps the blood up through here into the pulmonary artery. So the pulmonary artery goes to the lungs. Pulmonary, whenever you hear that word, is referring to lungs, and artery is the strong vessels that take blood away from the heart. So the pulmonary artery then goes to the lungs. You take a big deep breath in or breath out. The carbon dioxide goes out of the body. It returns the oxygen, and then that blood that was once full of carbon dioxide is now low in carbon dioxide and full of oxygen. So that's what we want. I'm gonna undo these. Now this side of the heart is now, we're done with that side. So it's going to come back, but it's not going to come back through the right side. It's going to come back through the left side, right here, the left atrium. So see that? The strong, rich oxygen blood is going to come through here and into the left ventricle. And if you notice, this ventricle is a lot smaller. And the reason it's smaller is because the left side of the heart is more muscular. And why is that? That's because the left side of the heart has to actually pump that blood throughout the body. Now that it's oxygen rich, it's ready to go throughout the body, and the cells in the body want the oxygen. So it's got to make quite a long move. Whereas the right side of the heart, it's sort of smaller, right? But that's because it only has to go to the lungs, and the heart and the lungs are right beside each other. So there's not a long distance to go. Anyway, that's sort of a tangent, but it's important to know. So where was I? Oh yeah, so the oxygen is in the left ventricle, and now it's ready to be pumped throughout the body through this little valve right here. If you can see that, it's sort of covered up. But anyway, it goes through there and then out the aorta up here, and then that's how it goes throughout the body. So it's sort of a complicated looking system, especially with all the lines that I've drawn. But it's pretty simple, in which it's goes through the right, then pumps out of the right, gets full of oxygen, goes back to the left, and throughout the body, and that's all it does. It's continuously repeating that cycle. Okay, we're going to end on a little bit of a darker note. We're going to talk a little bit about coronary artery disease. So we're going to call it CAD, coronary artery disease. So if you look right here, we have our coronary arteries. These are the arteries that feed the heart. Very important, because we talked about the heart's always beating. If the heart's always beating, it always needs nutrients, and it always needs to get rid of waste. Think of an athlete. So let's say Michael Phelps. I remember hearing what Michael Phelps actually eats in a day, and it's because he's always swimming, he's always moving, so he eats a lot. So he needs more to survive because he's burning a lot of energy. It's the same idea with your heart, except no matter who you are, your heart is always beating. Whether you're an active person or not, it doesn't matter. It's always going to be beating. So even the most inactive person in the world has a heart that needs a lot of energy. So because of that, with our high fatty diets that North Americans, Europeans, a lot of the developing worlds are noticing, is that we're getting little clogs in these small arteries. Which is another point to make. Look how small they are. It doesn't take a lot of fat to clog these. If you wanted to clog the aorta, that would be a different story. Look how big it is. But these little guys, they're so tiny, it doesn't take much to actually clog them. So if you think of it sort of like a beaver dam, if you have a river that has a lot of heavy moving water, that's fine. But as soon as a beaver starts building a dam near it, it's going to decrease the amount of water that's going through and eventually stop it completely. And if there's not enough blood going through these arteries, then the cells on the other side are going to start dying. And if they start dying, that's what we call a heart attack. And we don't like that, obviously. So that's what a heart attack is. It's just the cells in your heart dying because not enough oxygen, not enough carbon dioxide. So I wanted to talk about that because it's very prevalent in our world today. We're seeing more and more of it. And there are ways to decrease your chances of seeing this disease. So now that you actually understand how the heart works, I wanted to give it a real life application, because knowledge and learning is enough sometimes. Let me rephrase that. Knowledge and learning is important, but understanding how it applies to real life is more important. And yeah, knowledge is the gateway to understanding the world, but it's very important to be able to apply it. So that's how I wanted to sort of explain it. You understand how the heart works. I've told you how it pumps blood throughout the body, why the heart's important, and now a little bit of an application to it and how it might pertain to yourself. So maybe you'll reconsider that cheeseburger that you'll have. Maybe you'll choose the salad or something like that. Thanks for watching.